So you make a good point that Herodotus says that only these groups in that area practice circumcision. But you have to understand, Herodotus could only know about what he could observe. What he did not observe was that the Phoenicians, the Syrians, the Seleucids, in that same general area, the Syrians, they also practiced circumcision. Archaeology shows that these civilizations practiced circumcision as well. It became a very big thing when the southern nation of Judah was using propaganda against the Phoenicians. And I talked about this in a video where I talked about the pig taboos, how they would take something that they wanted to take something and use it to separate themselves from the other group. But what we find is that certain Phoenicians also practiced circumcision. Circumcision kind of went out of style in that area because when Alexander the Greek came through and conquered, he viewed circumcision as a negative. And so people hid the fact that they still practiced circumcision. Now, what Herodotus would not have known is that the Aboriginal people in Australia, the Aztecs, the Mayans, certain other Pacific Islanders also practiced circumcision, mostly as a rite of passage. What this demonstrates is that there is a universal consciousness. What it also demonstrates is that through observation, people without contact with each other can come up with the same idea, right? We will say that the wheel was first invented in this country or that country based on a Western mentality and only looking at it through the lens of Western history. But when we open our minds up to world history, we get an opportunity to see that certain things develop without having contact with another group. You see, Aboriginals didn't come into contact with anything from the Torah or the Bible until the British came to Australia and to make it a penal colony. But they had already been practicing circumcision prior to that. But they won't tell you this. They'll make it seem like it's only something that came from the Bible. But people were already doing it. Even certain tribes in southern Africa were already practicing circumcision as a rite of passage. So when we understand that there is a universal consciousness, in the same way that there is science, a scientific experiment can be practiced through observation by cultures of different areas simply because there are people there that observe something, and through that observation they experiment and they come to the same conclusion. So Herodotus' viewpoint was narrowed only to the people that he could observe, and even in that he didn't observe all the cultures in the community to which he was in, and he was Greek, so that also gave him a narrow view. But still, good point, my guy. Appreciate it.